So end of the year means another annual Cheddar gaming recap of all the games that I played this year. And by annual, I mean the second time because I've only really done this once last year, so I'm going to go over all the games that I've completed for my backlog this year. And then I'm going to give my thoughts about them. And two little tidbits before we start. One, I'm going to keep the reviews decently short because I have a lot of games and I don't want this video to be like an hour long. So this intro will probably be longer than any review that I give. And two, if I give a game a review score, remember it's for the game's potential. If I give the Avengers an 8 out of 10, which is insane, I know, but then I give Digimon Time Stranger a 7 out of 10, I'm not saying that the Avengers is better, I'm going based off of the potential of the game alone. I'm not comparing it to other games. If I feel a game could have done a lot more, I'm going to give it a lesser score because I feel like the developer was cutting corners. If I feel like the game went above and beyond, then I'm going to give it a higher score. So don't compare one game's grade to another. Look at the game's grade as, damn, they could have done a lot more to make this game a lot better. So with that being said, let's jump right in. The first game that I played this year was Minecraft Dungeons, and I went in kind of hesitant because of the whole Minecraft streamer label, but honestly, it was a pretty fun game. It was one of your basic dungeon exploring games. I don't know, I had a good time with it. I don't really have a lot of big complaints, to be honest, besides it having the name Minecraft, and if that's the only complaint that I have, then I can honestly say that I would recommend this game to people, and I'm not even that big into dungeon exploring games. I don't really play them very often, but I can see this game being a gateway to trying other games of the genre. So overall, I'd give this game like an 8.5 or 9, man. It's actually pretty good, and there's not a lot more they could do to improve it. So the next game up is going to be Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and remember, this is the second game that I played earlier this year, so my memory isn't too great, but these are the notes that I have. The camera is terrible, the targeting isn't that great, it kind of felt like it backtracked to ones. I did, however, like the 3 separate campaigns, even if I still don't know what's going on in the overall story. I loved Aqua and the Spellweaver, that was the shit. The villain was pretty obviously the villain, I don't really know how no one didn't notice. And I did also like how your fighting style changed up the little finishing combo that you could do. So like if you used electricity moves, then your final would incorporate electricity into it, then fire would do the same with flames and so on. The last fight against Vanitas in Ventus's campaign sucked. And there was a few levels that I would dread going into, but overall I liked the game. Overall, I'd give this game like a 7.5. The next game up is going to be the Avengers, and man, dude, I do not have a lot of good things to say about this game. For one, I hate how it's missions within the campaign. Like, I just want to play the campaign. But you get to the menu and you have missions that you can do, or you can play the campaign. And then there is the main campaign with 3 little bonus DLC ones, and when you click on the campaign, then you have to do other missions that aren't even really related to the story. If I wanted to do that, I would have just done that at the title screen. I just want to play the campaign straight through. I don't want to do all these little side missions. The one positive is that the combat isn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be, but then let's talk about how stupid these levels are. A lot of them are like, oh, the signal is jamming our comms, go destroy them. So we destroy them and then they're like, oops, that's not all, I guess there's more, go ahead and destroy those too. And this happens multiple times. They literally just recycle the same missions over and over and over again. So that's annoying, and then the story really forces Kamala on you, and I'm like, dude, I hate her, okay? She could jump off a cliff. They try to make the ending this huge emotional scene with her and her dad, but we didn't even get that much playtime with them to even give a shit. But shit, if I wanted to do serious reviews, this is kind of what I wrote. That's how bad this game is. I had to just rip on it and then do a, oh, you know, if I want to be serious, like get serious. The gameplay isn't actually too bad, but me personally, I just didn't care for what seems like a forced protagonist like Captain Marvel. For example, she's just a fangirl like everyone else. She goes to Comic-Cons for the Avengers and shit, right? And then she just runs into and has conversations with literally every Avenger except Iron Man. But it's just kind of weird, like how often do you go to Comic-Con and then just see like literally every single superhero that you like, and then get to have full ass conversations with them? Fucking never. So I already don't like her because I go to Comic-Cons, you know, I don't just run into fucking celebrities 24/7 like she does. It's not relatable at all. So then the bad shit happens and then she gets powers and then runs away because she doesn't want to put her family in danger. Like, okay, cool. But then at the end, when she goes back to her dad, they just make it seem like it's this emotional conclusion, when literally the time spent is like the first 5 minutes, I hate her because she's at a Comic-Con talking to all of her heroes. And then the next 5 minutes is her getting powers and then being like, oh my God, my family's in danger, I gotta run. And then for the next like 6, 7, 8 hours, it's her separated from her family. And then for the last 10 minutes, be like, oh my God, my family. Missed me with that shit, bro. I don't even miss my own family that much. But yeah, I don't know. I give this game like a 3, dude. It's very repetitive. repetitive, and I don't like how they forced Kamala down our throats. Alright, so the next game that I played is going to be called Maneater, and man, it was a super fun game. I can't really complain about it a lot, to be honest. It's exactly how it sounds. You're a shark and you eat shit. My only complaint is that jumping out of the water to get the collectibles is a bit wonky, but other than that, it's a really fun game, man. It could potentially get repetitive, but I didn't really notice it until the DLC. But I don't know, man, I just really enjoyed my time just swimming around doing shark shit, you know? I'm literally just swimming around, eating other fish, eating people, eating random ass shit, flopping out of the water, just, you know, having a good fucking time in my alternate shark life. But then when you start to encounter other apex predators and they were at a significantly higher level than me, I was like, ah, fuck, I kind of hate the ocean right now. But then, you know, you eat some more shit, you level up and you fight that apex predator. Man, it was fucking awesome. Honestly, I'm gonna give this game like between a 9 and a 9.5. I'm gonna go like a 9.3, 9.4, man. I just thought it was a really fun game. Next game up, and that's going to be Jumpforce. And guys, I was so excited to play this game, but it very quickly got very boring. The art style is kind of odd. At first it looks good, but I don't know, like Goku's gi, it just looks kind of weird. And then the blocking is way too overpowered. It almost felt like I was fighting the same villains over and over and over again. The level up system is stupid and not very intuitive. I mean, I finished the game at level 47 or so, and I didn't upgrade any abilities or stats or anything really. I'm not too sure if it was possible to upgrade stats, or I don't know, maybe I'm just stupid. The gameplay was fun at first until I just started to spam the same combo, which I mean seemed to work since I beat the game. But I also don't know why they don't just include the DLC characters in the game, since we can't buy them anymore. But they had absolutely no problem having side missions showcasing the new characters just so you could be excited to buy them. But once again, we can't buy them because the game is delisted. So all these little side missions showcasing the DLC characters, guess what? We cannot buy them anymore to play them. So yeah, I give this game like a 2, man, which is a bummer because I'm a huge anime fan. But I'm realizing that these anime matchup games aren't really the best. They never really have a good story, and this game is an example of that. There's not a good story, there's repetitive villain fights, there's weird graphics, and there's nothing to make the game stand out. It just really wasn't very enjoyable. So I give this game a 2 out of 10. Like I said, I'm a huge anime fan and it looked like a great anime mashup game, but man, I was just so let down. Next game on my list is going to be Tomb Raider 2013, and this was my first Tomb Raider game, and man, it was amazing. I loved pretty much all of this game. It was a tad bit slow to get into, and I remember trying to start this game a couple years ago and I just kind of didn't get that far and then I stopped playing. So this year I locked the fuck in and I was like, all right, let's try this. And once I got into it, I was actually really excited to play this game day to day, and man, I cannot wait to play the next one. Even though it's kind of odd because this was like what, like the 6th game on this list, and I have not played the second one at all this year, so I really need to jump on that. But it did kind of bug me how absolutely no one really helped Laura when she was doing her thing. I could have used some help, and half the time the cast is just sitting there like, oh, Laura, go ahead and go do this, we'll sit here and wait. Like, no bitch, get off your fat ass and come help me. But the graphics were amazing, the gameplay felt great, except for some of the climbing parts, but overall, I really loved this game. Overall, I give it like a 9.2, a 9.3, man. It was a fantastic game. I loved it. All right, next game that I played is gonna be Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. And there are a few little parts that I do, you know, just kind of get nitpicky about. So the healing mid-battle is a problem, especially when the fact that I get hit trying to heal just stops my healing. And then the dropout concept is kind of cool. So basically you're playing as Sora and Riku, and you basically have a time limit as each character, right? So let's just, for example, say you have 5 minutes as Sora. Once that timer runs out, you swap to Riku, and then you play as 5 minutes as Riku. And then once that 5 minutes is over, you swap back to Sora right where you left off as Sora. And then that 5 minutes is up and you swap right back to Riku where you left off as Riku. So you get to play as 2 characters, right? However, if the timer runs out and you swap out mid-boss battle, you have to come back to the person that you were. So say you're Sora in the middle of a boss fight, the timer runs out, you swap to Riku, that timer runs out and you swap back to Sora in the middle of the boss fight, right? Well, guess what? It doesn't pick up mid-boss fight. You have to restart the entire boss fight again. It is the stupidest fucking thing and it really irritated me. So the gameplay is the same as the other Kingdom Hearts, but this time you could do some cool little purple colored tricks. However, with all the theatrics that you do, you could still get hit and take damage while doing moves. And the next bit I actually had written under the previous Kingdom Hearts game that I reviewed, and then I was like, wait a minute, that's not Sora and Riku, that's like 3 other characters. And then I realized realized that it was for this game. So, you know, I gave that a 7.5, and then I kind of cut off the audio because I had this part recorded, but I realized it wasn't for the right game. So, you know, here it is. So overall, I did like this game until the fucking ending. Sora's ending, I was like, ah, okay, cool, you know, nice little ending. But Riku's, dude, my God, I don't know whose bright ass idea it was to have 5 difficult boss fights back to back to back to back to back, whatever, 5 times. So, you know, I fought the dark robed guy, cool. And then I fought the guy with the demon, you know, okay, cool again. And then another phase with the demon guy, but he's even bigger. And then this is where the game should have ended, right? But no, then we gotta fight a young Xenoheart, and then when I get done with him, guess what? Phase 2 starts. And then if I die phase 2, I have to go back to phase 1. And so yeah, the ending really kind of fucking ruined it for me. I just don't know. I really don't know how to rank this game because I really did enjoy it overall, I guess. The ending was very meh. If I really had to think about it, this is probably a little bit more forgettable than the last one. Let's just go with like a 6.8. I don't know, man. Apparently Kingdom Hearts just isn't my forte. Next game up is gonna be Bendy and the Ink Machine. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I actually beat this game like years ago, but I do not remember anything about it. So I decided to replay it and then just chalk it up as a game that I beat for this year. I don't even really have any notes on it. I have mostly notes for the second game. And then actually the gameplay that I'm showing right now is actually, yeah, the second game. Sorry about that. But basically, you know, it's a good game. It's just the art style kind of takes a little bit getting used to, I guess. It has its spooky moments. The story overall, I kind of liked it. It kind of reminded me of a Walt Disney gone wrong type of game, I guess, if I could explain it to you that way. I've kind of realized for the past couple games I have not actually told the story at all. I just kind of told what I like and what I don't like, and then I kind of moved on. Like I said, I liked it. It was a pretty good game. It had its moments, had its little spooky moments, you know. Overall, I'd probably give it like I would say like an 8.3. I want to say I was teetering between 8 and 8.5, but 8.3 sounds pretty good for me. Not a bad game at all. I would recommend it. It is pretty good. Not too scary, but you know, not too dull. Just right in the middle of that sweet spot. So yeah, 8.3, and then yeah, that's it. Let's just move on. Next game up is going to be Dragonball Fighterz Z, or is it Fighters? I don't really know. But anyways, it felt like the button inputs were just a tad bit off, and the game got really boring really quickly, especially with the campaign. I didn't really touch multiplayer, I just went through the campaign, and you know how you usually go through the entire Dragon Ball Z story, right? Well, this one has a brand new story, which I actually really like. It's about Android 21, and I don't really remember the specifics, but yeah, she's on some shit. I just didn't like the execution of the campaign. I don't really mind the checkerboard thing that they did. It kind of reminds me of Budokai 2 on the PS2, but I hated how it had multiple fights of the same guys. For example, there are multiple maps in this game, right? And one map has multiple fights. And it's usually a constant rotation of clone versions of Goku, Yamcha, Tien, Krillin, Vegeta, Cell, Frieza, Nappa, and maybe 2 more characters. And like I said, there are a lot of maps with a lot of fights. So you're just fighting the same guys over and 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 over again. Also, you can level up to fight the main boss of the map and then carry on in the campaign to the next map. It just got really tedious and, like I said, really boring because we're fighting the same guys over and over again. But I did like the animations, and it reminded me a lot of the old school Budokai games, which I loved those as a kid. So overall, I thought it was a pretty good game. I'm just sure that if I was probably into the multiplayer a little bit more, I would have loved it a lot more. But the campaign was just meh. Overall, I'd give the game an 8, honestly, because I'm probably just biased because I like Dragon Ball Z, but I'd give it a solid 8. And remember, that's without the multiplayer aspect of it, because I know that's really big. Alrighty, the next game is going to be Kingdom Hearts Point 2 Birth by Sleep Fragmentary Passage. God damn, man, what a name. And this is kind of a little side story to the first Kingdom Hearts game that I had at the beginning of the video. Do I know what the story is? Absolutely not. I still have zero idea. But this game is actually relatively short compared to all of the other games, which I appreciate because my time is like a toddler in a tiara. I also really love Aqua, so you know, I'm glad she got her own little spin-off. She was my favorite character in the first Kingdom Hearts that I described in this video. It plays like all of the other Kingdom Hearts, so you know, it's just, you know, the action's kind of meh. I kind of give the Kingdom Hearts games a bad rap, but honestly, I think they're just kind of the game of their generation type of thing, you know? Like, these are all older games and I'm playing them now, so they were probably fantastic back then, but nowadays they're just, I don't know, not really holding up as well. But like I said, I really like Aqua, and I do like how it was a little bit shorter of a game, so I'm gonna go with like a 7.8 on this one. Maybe you have to give the Kingdom Hearts games a little bit more effort. Alright, and the next game up is going to be the Until Dawn Remaster. And like a lot of you, I'm one of those people who thought that the Until Dawn game didn't really need a remake. And man, I noticed that this version is a hell of a lot darker than the PS4 version. And like I said, the PS4 version, it was fantastic, man. It still ran great. I still don't really know why they had to make this, but whatever. I think it was just a cash grab because the movie was coming out, so they wanted to push this game out again for some reason. Shit, I mean, it got my ass, so there's honestly nothing too crazy or different if you play the PS4 version. There's like an additional after credit cutscene. There's also a little bit more at the beginning, but there's honestly not that much of a difference. And if you don't know what Until Dawn is, it's basically a story horror game where you're a group of friends and you went out on vacation to like this little mountainside little hut cabin thing. And basically what happened was there was a pretty nasty prank that one of the friends pulled on another girl, causing her to run out of the building, and eventually her sister catches up to her, but then they fall off of a cliff. So they die, and then a year later, the friends all regroup to go back to this cabin. But then the brother decides to play a really harsh prank to kind of get back at the friends who pranked his sisters and, ended up killing them. But it turns out that, it's actually some type of weird curse, and since one of the girls ate the other girls to survive, she turned into a Wendigo. And so yeah, you have Wendigos on the mountains, the kids have no idea, and then you also got this flamethrower guy, and it's just a whole thing, man. It's a very good game though. Go ahead and go play it. Total normal segue here, but I actually have a poorly explained on this game, so go ahead and check that out. I would appreciate the support. And so yeah, you have Wendigos on the mountains, the kids have no idea, and then you also got this flamethrower guy, and it's just a whole thing, man. It's a very good game though. Go ahead and go play it. I'm not even playing the PS4 version. I'd probably give like a 9.8. It's a very good game. So I am grading this strictly on a comparison to the main game and how good not the main game, but the first game, how good that one was. And this one just doesn't hold up to the old one at all. But I don't know, personally, if you played the original, I'm gonna give this one like a 6 compared to that one. This one just isn't that good. It's still playable on its own. It's just not as good as the original. Next game up is gonna be Bendy and the Dark Revival. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I really don't remember a lot about these games. I remember playing them, I was like, okay, these games are pretty cool, I liked them, but nothing really sticks out, Maybe I just have to play them a little bit more. That's probably it, I know. But overall, I liked it, Maybe not as much as the first game, but I did like this one. I mostly did not like it because I am not a stealth person at all, and for about a quarter of the game, you have to be very aware of your surroundings. And that's because Bendy can spawn at literally any time, so when that happens, you need to know where the hiding places are to hide from him. There is no running from Bendy in this game, you have to hide. And then the next quarter of the game, you have to be using stealth against these Medusa-inspired enemies. The art style still looks great, but like I said, for about half the game, you're just running and hiding, and then you're using stealth, and I am not a stealth person at all. I'll be the first to tell you that. So I felt like this one was a little bit more stealthier than the first one. And like I said, I'm just not that big of a fan of that. So I don't know, if I graded the last one like an 8.3, I'm trying not to compare, just basically this game on its own, just a little standalone game. I think I'd give it like a 7.8 to an 8. Let's just go with an 8. I'd give this game just a solid 8. Next game up is going to be Ori and the Blind Forest, and man, this was one of the only games in a long time where I could play for like 2 or 3 hours and be like, damn, I kind of want to keep playing. I don't know, the time just got away from me. To unlocking new areas and getting new abilities, the art style, the story, the gameplay, man, this game was a masterpiece. I loved this game. It was just straight up amazing. And I've honestly just sat on this because I have number 2, but I'm all like, nope, I gotta just sit here and just, bask in the glory that is Ori and the Blind Forest. It was amazing. This game almost single-handedly got my passion for gaming back. Because remember, a lot of these games that I played, like Marvel's The Avengers and shit, they are not very good. So to play this game, it was like a breath of fresh air. Like, no joke, even when I was working, all I could think was, damn, I really need to go back and play that game right now. I give this game like a 9.7, dude. I think this game was fantastic. Next game is gonna be Days Gone, and I have had this game on my backlog for a fucking minute, dude. And it was a fun game, it was a good story. I honestly just thought it dragged on way too long. So for example, this game, Days Gone, it's a zombie game, right? Just an open world zombie game, I think around the Portland area, or just the Oregon area in general, I don't know, somewhere out there, but it's, an open world zombie game. And basically what they're doing is that they're playing this whole, is his wife dead, is his wife not dead card for damn near like over half of the beginning. But then we start to build a little community, and the guys are like, oh my god, she might be alive, I gotta go. And I'm sitting there like, no dude, we just built this community, like we found a home, let's just stay here. We spent the entire first half of the game looking for her and nothing, so let's just stay here and chill, dude. But no, we leave and then we join an army, and it turns out that our ex-wife, that the whole, is she dead, is she not dead, she's actually alive with the army. So we try to help the Psycho army out, and then there was this douchebag that was at the old community, right? Well, he was a douchebag, and that leader basically kicked him out of our little community. Instead of killing him, we just kind of let him go. So he comes back to the army side and then calls us a traitor. So now the army is going to war with our old community. And then we have to stop the army, and in the middle of all of this, the game tasks you with stopping hordes and fetching bounties and all of this extracurricular shit. I honestly would have been happy with the wife being dead and Deacon moving on, but you know, nope. I had to carry that with the game for like 15 plus hours, so that was fun. If they shortened it up, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more, because then I could have explored a little bit more and done all this other shit, you know? So I don't know, this game, it was just kind of a letdown for me. God, dude, I don't even want to go over an 8. I kind of want to just go like a 7.8. No, that's a lie. I want to go like a 7.6. I'm not gonna lie. I just wasn't a fan of it. Once again, maybe you have to spend a little bit more time playing it and doing the extracurricular shit, but from just a story gameplays, just that standpoint alone, it went on way too long. So yeah, I'm gonna go like a 7.6, man. I had a lot of hype for this game and it just kind of fell off for me. So yeah. Next game up is gonna be Overcooked 2, and man, dude, this game is honestly a lot of fun if you have friends to play with, and that's how I played. But it could also very quickly ruin your friendships if you're not careful. So, you know, it brings out the worst in people. I swear to God, I get a Gordon Ramsay complex whenever I play this game. I'm not even joking. But super fun game. It's just, you know, you just cook. It's pretty much all it is. You just put the ingredients into little skillets or whatever, and you just make food and dish it out. It's not that deep of a game, but it's really fun. I just have no idea how to get 4 stars though. Me and Shay, we really tried, but we cannot get 4 stars. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just not a very good chef. If you have friends though, super fun game, man. I give this game like an 8.5 if you have friends to play with. If not, I can see it getting boring pretty quickly by yourself. Then I'd probably rate it like a 7. Like the co-op aspect with friends really does make a difference. I'm not even playing. Next game is going to be Death's Door, and man, this is another great indie game that I played this year. I loved it. It's decently short, but you know, it kept me engaged the entire time. You're a crow and you're basically trying to collect souls for death or something like that. I don't know. Okay, it's been a minute since I played this, so just bear with me, but I really enjoyed it. It had creative bosses and characters, and I would definitely recommend this game if you haven't played it already. There's honestly not much more that I would praise this game on. Everything was great. I'd give it like a 9. Maybe if this game had a little bit more bosses, because I loved them all. I mean, the bosses were very they're just, dude, they're great. They're memorable and they were unique, and I really liked it. So maybe if the game was a little bit longer, I'd give it a little bit of a higher score, but man, yeah, I honestly no. Let's give it like a 9.2, because this is honestly a great game and I don't know what else they could do to improve it, but there are like little things, but nothing drastic. Next game I played is going to be Metro 2033 Redux. And bro, I don't even know what happened in this game or what's going on. Like, I beat it, but I don't know how I did it. I don't really remember much either. It's just kind of a giant blur. All I remember was that the game was decently short, which I appreciated, you know? But it could also be one of those games where you just had to be there to enjoy it during the time, because I honestly did not enjoy it all that much. Like, all I remember was there was some like demons outside, and it was like kind of a wasteland area, almost like a Fallout type environment, where a lot of people were underground, because the above ground, it wasn't like nuclear waste or anything, but there were like these weird demon things flying around attacking and killing people. So I kind of pushed everyone to go underground. But other than that, I don't really know what was going on. And I don't know, it didn't feel very fun to me. So when I played it, I had one of my viewers ask me to play this, but apparently they said like the second or third one was better. But me being me, I got to start with the first, you know? And the first, yeah, dude, I give it like a 4. I did not enjoy it. I did not think it was that fun. So sorry for all you Metro fans, especially fans of the first game. I just was not that big of a fan. I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack for this one, but I was not it. It wasn't it. I'm giving it like a 4 for me. All right, so the next game up is going to be Resident Evil Code Veronica, and honestly guys, I was not a big fan of this game. It definitely showed its age, and honestly, I felt like this was longer than the RE3 remake, which is kind of sad. But with that being said, I feel like if this game got a remake and they actually made it as a remake, you know, and didn't cut corners or cut shit out, but if they did that, I would honestly probably really enjoy the remake. I was actually starting to get a hang of the game and the tank controls and all that, and I was actually enjoying it until the end of the game where it made you switch to Chris. And then I was all like, dude, just why? Just let me be Claire. Our main protagonist and our main character is Claire, but for some reason it keeps switching you between Chris and Claire at the end, when I just wanted to be Claire. You're Claire for like 3/4 of the game, and then at the last quarter, you know, the home stretch, it switches you to Chris because, you know, he came to save his sister. sister who is Claire. And the end has you switching between the two, and I did not like that. And basically, you know, it's different inventory for each character and all that other shit. Oh, and then this game is called Code Veronica, but I mean, I beat the game and I gotta ask, who the fuck is Veronica? So yeah, honestly, I feel like a remake would pay dividends because, dude, honestly, I could see this game being really good if it got a remake. But the OG one, like I said, it was good. It just, dude, I hate when the character switch it at the end because, like I said, I was very comfortable with Claire. I was like, all right, we're starting to get the hang of this. We're getting a hang of the tank controls, all that other shit. And then they just bring in Chris for no goddamn reason, and it ruined the ending for me. I don't think this game is as bad as a Resident Evil 0 though, so I don't think it'd go that low. I'd probably give this game like a 5 if it got a remake. Dude, trust me, I'd probably score it a lot higher, but I highly doubt it's going to get one anytime soon because Resident Evil 9 is coming out next year, but who knows. This game definitely deserves a remake though, because I can see the potential. There is a lot of potential with this game. I just feel like it wasn't hit the first time around. That's why I'm giving it like a 5. All right, next game is going to be Astro Bot, and this was a fantastic game. It kept me hooked literally the entire time, man. And the collectibles, they weren't the hardest thing ever to collect, which I appreciate. I mean, I got the platinum trophy on this one and I loved every minute of it. The challenge levels, they were challenging but not unbeatable. I actually really like the bosses. I'm telling you, I'm a big fan of bosses. If they could create, you know, like a unique boss, I'm for it, man. And each world had a unique final boss. I really loved it. And the levels, every time I jumped into a level, I was just like, wow, man, these levels are very well made, very bright and vibrant. It was just a good time overall. I also loved all the little cameos from the Astro Bots. Some of them I didn't really know who they were, but other ones I did recognize. And this game is basically just like your mothership is basically a PS5. And then an alien comes in and destroys the PS5, and you have to go to these different worlds to collect the parts to basically rebuild your PS5. And then you go and you fight the alien and, you know, save the galaxy from, I guess, for Astrobots everywhere, I don't know. But overall, I give this game like a 9.6, dude. It was very well made. I do not know what else they could do to improve it very much. Maybe just a few more challenge levels. I really don't know. It like a 9.6 sounds good to me. And yeah, man, just a really fun 3D platformer. I highly recommend this game if you haven't played it. I can see why it won Game of the Year. I know a lot of people, you know, are just against that, but dude, I can see it. It's a very fun game. So yeah. So the next game that I played is going to be Power Rangers Battle for the Power Grid. And man, dude, my thoughts on this game, it's just terrible game. Quite literally, the only thing that I have on my notes is quote unquote terrible game. That is it. I have nothing else written. I don't even want to waste my time trying to explain this game. It is just trash. Like the difficulty curve, I think I was on easy or normal, just, you know, the basic, and dude, it whipped my ass. It was not a fun campaign. The difficulty on that was fucking wild. I'd be one person and I'd have to defeat like 3 or 4 of them. And don't forget, their difficulty curve is crazy high. So the normal is like very hard. So I'm sitting there like, bro, what the fuck? I'm getting my ass handed to me. Like, throw me a fucking bow and help me. I give this game like literally, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I give this game like a 1 out of 10. It was trash. I think I got it on sale for like less than $5 and I think I just threw it away. It was that bad. The only reason why it gets a 1 is because I'm a simp for the Green Ranger. He's daddy. So if it wasn't for the Green Ranger being in this game, I'd give it a 0 out of 10. It was not a good game. So 1 out of 10 because the Green Ranger is in it. Other than that, do not waste your time on this game. Next game on the list is going to be Shadow of the Colossus, and this was actually a pretty interesting game. I've had this one as on my other backlog games like for a long ass time, right? And I'm glad I gave it a chance. I like how it was short and to the point. It was simple, you know, you start in a temple and then you leave and go straight towards the Colossus, and then you defeat it and then you end up back in the temple and then go to the next Colossus. You know, there's not much filler here and I appreciate that. The story had me shook too. I don't really want to go into too much detail because I might spoil it, but basically you're trying to revive this girl by killing the Colossus and using their souls to bring her back from the dead. And this is a game that I would feel would do amazing with the ground up remake. So I give this game like an 8.8. Yeah, I like that, an 8.8. The Colossus were all really cool and really unique, and as you guys know, I'm a fan of unique enemies. I don't know, maybe if they focus on expanding the story just a little bit more to make it make a bit more sense, but it could also be the lack of explanation that makes the story so good. I don't really know. I just feel like there's just something there that's missing, or maybe I don't know, just going from the Colossus to Colossus to Colossus, maybe making that a little bit more exciting. I don't know. There was just something there that I was like, there's a little bit left to be desired, you know? But it's not at all a bad game. Like I said, an 8.8, it's a very good game. I highly recommend it. Next game is Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, and I'm not gonna lie, I was super excited to play this after playing, what's it called? The Forgotten Land. But this honestly wasn't as fun as the other one that I played. I liked Forgotten Land a lot more. I know they're two different games. This one's like a 2D platformer. The other one's a 3D platformer. It's just the last one, it moved so well and the enemies were like memorable. This game, it's just, Kirby moved a little bit slower than other 2D platformers and it kind of bugged me, I'm not gonna lie. The level designs weren't too bad and the game overall wasn't bad either. It's just a tad bit on the short side. But you know, it's your generic Kirby game, not really any upgrades for abilities this time, and the bosses don't really stand out, but you know, it was a nice mix up from the games that I've been playing so far this year. If I had to give it a grade, I'd give it like a 7.7. I don't know, after playing the Forgotten Land, this one just really didn't stack up as, I guess in my head, I thought it was gonna be a lot better, a lot more identical to that one, but dude, that Forgotten Land one was really good. Honestly, I probably should have started off with this game before I played Forgotten Land, because Forgotten Land kind of ruined my my Kirby experience for this one. Next game on the list is gonna be Medan, and I don't have any notes on this game whatsoever. So I'm about to freeball this, here we go. So this is the game that's right after Until Dawn. It's from the same creators, so it's just like Until Dawn story-wise. Well, actually, I wouldn't say story-wise. It's a different story, but it plays out the same like Until Dawn. Where, you know, you have like your little group of characters and then they go through some type of horror movie type shit, all that stuff, you know, different plot. It's the same creators as Until Dawn. This time we're visiting a ghost ship and it's not really even ghosts, it's some type of chemical warfare. So we're breathing in toxic chemicals that are causing hallucinations and it's killing people. So the whole ship is dead and it's starting to affect us and yada yada yada. Don't want to spoil it too much. And this is the one that was right after Until Dawn, and I gotta let you guys know this was a huge letdown. I swear to God, I played with Shay and we beat it in like 3 or 4 hours. It was not a long game, and if they charged full price for this, then that's just criminal, dude. And you guys know I love Until Dawn. I literally said it in my my remaster section. But this game is just like, it's fun if you haven't played Until Dawn and it's your first kind of gateway game into this type of genre, then it's not that bad of a game. It's honestly, it could hold up on its own, but I just think it's criminally short for a full price tag. But now you can get it on sale for like 10 bucks, so I guess it's worth it now. And there are glitches everywhere still in this game. We did like these little heartbeat parts, and it said that me and Shay failed every single time, even though we know we did not. So it was kind of weird. Overall, I'd have to give this game a 6. Like I said, I personally didn't like it compared to Until Dawn, and pretty much every other game that I've played that's like this is better than this one. So I feel pretty comfortable giving this a 6. Honestly, I should go lower to like a 5.5, but I love this series. I'm just gonna stick with the 6. This probably the worst one in the, you know, in the whole entry. But what didn't disappoint is the next game, and that one's gonna be Hades. And once again, I have absolutely 0 notes on this game. We're starting to near the end of the video, so these games at the end are the ones that are most fresh in my head. And Hades was a fantastic game, man. Honestly, it's kind of like the Minecraft Dungeons ones at the very beginning of the video, but this one is so much more polished. It's way more fun. I like this one more than I like Minecraft Dungeons. But like I said, Minecraft Dungeons could have been the gateway for this one, for me to enjoy this one at least. This one was just dope, man. We're fucking, what's this called? Hades' son. I already forgot his name. Literally the main character, and I forgot his fucking name. I know, my bad. But yeah, we're just going through the underworld, just defeating all these, you know, Greek gods, and dude, and they're also like helping us too. So we're getting like Poseidon's help and Ares' help and all these other guys, dude. It was great. You get to like mix and match different abilities and whatnot from different gods. And then at the very end, you get to fight Hades, and you get to go see your mother and yada yada yada. And then you have to win like 10 times actually to get the real ending or some shit, dude. It was just a lot of fun. I actually have to pick up number 2 here soon, so I really loved Hades. I thought it was a lot of fun. So ranking time, I'm gonna give this like a 9.4. Nah, fuck it. Like fuck it. You guys are right. I'm gonna go up to a 9.5. I think this is a really well put together game. All right, almost done. And this next game is gonna be My Hero One's Justice. This game's kind of like all your other typical 3D fighter arena types, so I'm already not really that big of a fan of it. That's probably why I couldn't get into that one Pokken tournament, whatever that game was called. I'm just not a big fan of 3D fighter arena type games, and this game is honestly no exception. The story was meh, you know, you're following your typical anime story, but it only goes up to a certain point. I honestly forgot the point. It was like kind of right after Stain, I think. It was kind of, yeah, I think it was right after Stain. So the game isn't very long, and I don't know, just the fighting mechanics and stuff, I wasn't not a fan of it, so yeah. So I'm gonna keep this relatively short because I'm just not a fan of 3D fighting arena games. If you are a fan of it, you'll probably like this one. I'm just not a fan of them. So I'm gonna give this game, God, I like My Hero though, so I'm gonna be generous and give it a 5 because I want to give it like a 4.5, but I like My Hero, so just you know, because I'm biased, I'm gonna go with a 5. Next game up, and my personal game of the year that I have been waiting for is gonna be Digimon Story Time Stranger. And man, like I said, you guys probably are like, Cheddar, really? Game of the year? Like, it was my personal game of the year. I know there's Expedition 33 and everything out there, but dude, this was the game that I have been waiting for years. I was just waiting for it to come out and just completely crush Pokemon because, you know, fuck Nintendo right now, and fuck Pokemon Legends ZA. I do not want to start throwing money down that cash cow. Fuck that. So out of principle, I did not buy Pokemon Legends ZA, and I bought this game instead. And I went out and I bought the collector's edition. And man, I loved it. They have voice acting in this game, the Digivolution processes. The only thing that I probably don't like that much is the personality traits, because then it's fucking with my stats, and you know, some of the Digivolutions need certain stats. And if you have the wrong personality for that stat, then you're not going to reach that stat to Digivolve. So then you have to change around the personality types, which takes a minute. So that's probably my only complaint of this game. The story was fucking great. It could have dragged on maybe a little bit too long, but man, with the voice acting and all the different Digimon in this game, I loved it. My only complaint about this game is that okay, so hear me out. I am a Generation 4 or Season 4, I guess, fan. Right? But problem is, for a lot of the Digimon community, Season 4 is kind of the black sheep. No one really likes it because the kids turn into Digimon. But I love those Digimon, man. It gave me, like, when I was a kid, it gave me that little, like, we could kind of, you know, make believe play this Digimon season because we could be the Digimon, you know? So, like, we turned into, like, superheroes. So that's why I loved it. I used to act out back when I was a kid, you know, being a Goonimon and whatnot. So my only complaint is that they never show Season 4 any love. The only real Season 4 guys they have is just the Agunimon evolution and the Lobomon evolution that leads up to Susanowomon, and that's it. This time they brought about Renamon for some reason. It's because she was one of the villains in the story, and that's it. Out of the 10 legendary warriors, they only ever bring 2, and then they included a 3rd one this time. Like, give me all of them. I want to play as Beetlemon and Cosmon and everyone else, not just these 2 or 3. Shit, I get every Digivolution of Season 1 and 2 and 3. Like, why not include the Season 4 guys? I really like them. So that was my one big complaint. Everything else about this game, perfect, dude. I loved it. I'm gonna give this like a 9.9, dude. I seriously love this game, and I'm gonna be playing this game for fucking months on end. And yeah, just 9.9. Like I said, the only reason why it's not a 10 is because I want my Season 4 Digimon. I swear to God, they don't get the respect that they deserve. So yeah, 9.9, dude. I love this game. My personal game of the year. I loved it, dude. Hands down, easy. Yep, let's just move on. Second to last game on the list is going to be called Bramble, and if you haven't heard of this game, don't worry, because I haven't either before I, you know, got it on sale. I decided to load it up and play it, and honestly, it was a pretty fun game. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't really know how to describe it. It's kind of like a Little Nightmares type of gameplay. If I could compare it to any game, it'd probably be like Little Nightmares. And yeah, you're like these little people, like probably about the size of gnomes, maybe a little bit shorter, and you're basically looking for your sister, and the game gets really dark really quickly. It's actually kind of crazy, because when I got it, I was like, oh, Bramble, okay, it looks like it's just a nice little, you know, shut your mind off and play kind of game. And then no, next thing I know, people are getting eaten, and there's like a butchering people, and the monsters look fucking terrifying. I'm like, yo, what is happening? This is kind of weird, but I'm into that type of shit, so I was like, let's fucking go. I like this game. If I had to give it a rank on, oh god, let me try. Okay, let me think here. Some of the platforming was a little bit iffy. It wasn't as, I guess, as clean as I would like it to be. I'm gonna have to go with, I'd go, oh god, I don't want to give it more than an 8.5. I'd give it like an 8.3, an 8.4, right around there. I'm like 3.5 and a half. Let's just fuck it. Just go up to 8.4 because I did actually like this game. So I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving it an 8.4. If you haven't played it and you like games that are like Little Nightmares, I highly suggest this one. Last game on the list, and to wrap up my 2025, is gonna be Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. And this game overall, it's not bad. okay, so that was a terrible intro, but it's a good game, all right? It's a good game. There was just some little nitpicky things, you know, the usual. It comes with Xtra Cheddar's channel. I know I'm a nitpicky little bitch. I know I'm Xtra. It was just the little things like when you're in the water levels and when I want Donkey Kong to kind of turn sharp, he kind of takes a little semi-truck turn and has gotten me killed a couple times in the game. And then he's kind of slow on the turns when you're on land, but then again, you know, he's a fucking gorilla, so I guess that makes a lot of sense. Overall, the platforming wasn't really that bad. There were some parts where I was like, okay, I don't know why the level isn't being very consistent. I could be stuck on a level and then I do the same part 6 times, it works every single time, but then the 7th through 9th, it doesn't work, and then the 10th time it does work. And that's what I mean by consistency with the level. Because like any other 2D platformer, this game kind of has you, you know, like bouncing on people's heads and stuff, and if you fall, then you just die. There's no floor. There were levels like that where I'm just like, I don't know why this shit works one time and then doesn't work the next time. But as far as 2D platformers, this game was actually a lot of fun. Like I said, my shit is just nitpicky, so it doesn't really bring down the score all that much. I kind of go based off general enjoyment, and this game did bring me joy, so you know, it's probably gonna rank a little bit higher. I loved having Dixie Kong. I swear to God, she was the MVP, so yeah, there's that. And if I had to give this one a rank, I'm gonna give it like a 9.2. I really do like it. I just wish it was a little bit more consistent. I really like the silhouette levels when like Donkey Kong was just pitch black. It was really cool, but his tie was red, so it stuck out. It was really cool. I wish there were more of those levels there. But yeah, I think a 9.2, 9.3, just around that general area is a pretty good review. It's a pretty good platformer, so go ahead and give it a try if you know, have been thinking about it. So that is going to be it for me, guys. Had a great 2025, you know, thank you for sticking with me throughout the year. Let's all have a great 2026, take more of this backlog out. I'll be back with another video again next year. I already have the 2026 folder open. Let me know your guys' thoughts of any of the games that I played, or possibly any other games you want me to try for 2026. I have a lot of them. And I hope you guys have a safe and happy new year, and I will see you guys in 2026. Have a good one.